Hey, Juventini, welcome back to the All Juve cast. I'm Alberto, and I'm going to take you through the Allegri press conference ahead of Juventus versus Sassuolo. All right. So he kicks it off basically speaking about the players' conditions. Rabiot is back with the team. Bernardeschi and Keane are going to be out for this one. Okay. Continues to talk about Sassuolo. Sassuolo is a team that could play good football. Tomorrow is a game that must be won. Otherwise, the point against Inter would be meaningless. And he says the lads know it. Talks about Caio Jorge. Caio Jorge from the start tomorrow, question mark. No, but he's a player who has great personality and did well when he came on. And he continues to speak well about his technique and the fact that he understands how to play football. So again, promising for Caio Jorge. He's probably going to get some minutes tomorrow against Sassuolo. Now, when he talks about the actual lineup, he basically says that it's going to be Perin, Dybala, Chiesa, and De Ligt as far as the four sures. Those are the guys that are going to be in 100%. Perin, De Ligt, Dybala, and Chiesa. And speaking about some of the other players, Artur, he says based on his characteristics, he could play ahead of the defense and also alongside Locatelli. Those are two guys we need to have as our main mids. Whoever the supporting mid, you can rotate from Rabiot, Bentancur, McKennie. Speaking of McKennie, talks about Kulishevsky having 60 good minutes against Inter, and he played his role good because what he needed from him is exactly what he gave him for those 60 minutes. Weston McKennie said also had a good game, and he said the team continues to grow and that these players that are on the outs um, so far are growing and are going to get their minutes as he basically comes up with a classic Allegri line saying that you cannot play the same players all the time. If I did, I'd have to get rid of these 15 players and find another 20 come January. He said they're kids, they're not scooters that he just used repeatedly. So Allegri just having some fun with the media there again with the rotation. He didn't let a whole lot else out as far as the rest of the lineup and who we're going to see tomorrow. But Chiesa and Dybala, if we go in our standard 4-4-2, which we've been playing against Sassuolo, they are leaky and they are very, very susceptible to leaving their defenders, their center backs, vulnerable. Without a nine, it's harder to accomplish that. Dybala, you would see playing between the lines. That leaves Chiesa, but Chiesa, I don't know if he's going to play that role like a true nine in order to really capitalize on the fact of how loose and leaky Sassuolo is at the back. They get pulled out of position constantly, and their fullbacks leave their defenders. There's far too much gaps, and we can utilize that space, but a nine is crucial. So if Morata's not going to be able to go, Keane isn't in the lineup. And if Caio Jorge is not going to get the start, if it's going to be out of those two, play Chiesa at the highest point, use Dybala between the lines. There's going to be a lot of space also for Dybala to cook in between those lines. So again, that's the only for sure we know is that Dybala and Chiesa are out there. De Ligt and Perin. That's really it for the presser. They were continuing to question Allegri in terms of Chiesa and his minutes and whatnot. And he says, look, he's an international player. He's played many games, comes from a European championship, and the type of player he is, he consumes a lot of energy. So managing him is crucial. That would be basically, again, referring to the Inter Milan match where Chiesa did not start. Okay. And again, he continues as they ask him about the Scudetto race, and he just continues to say Inter are the favorites. And he talked about the game at the San Siro, saying that we played a good game. We grew into it. Also speaks to the Zenit match, saying we did not play well in that one. So he says there's always work to do, but the team is growing. And he continues to reiterate the fact that tomorrow is a must-win match. He has continued to basically lay out perfect press conferences and saying all the right things, and he's absolutely right. And we highlighted this on the last podcast, is that now the schedule shifts for Juventus. We've already played the top four teams in the table. It starts to get a bit lighter for us now, and that's why these are the must-win matches. These are the games that dictate where you end up in the table, and these are the games where the Scudetto basically are won and lost. We need to pile on the pressure on those ahead of us, because now they're getting into a rotation where they all start to play each other. And we must remember that the second half of the season, the schedule will flip, and we will basically benefit because we will start playing those top teams now towards the end, whereas they're going to play them each other at the beginning of the second half of the season. So again, time for Juve to capitalize. Max Allegri is absolutely spot on correct. Must win match tomorrow against Sassuolo. Make sure you're here on the channel tomorrow, 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time for the match day live, where we get ready for Juventus Sassuolo. Have a lot of fun, talk some trivia, go through the projected lineups, and of course, go at it in the prediction battle. All right. We'll see you then. As always, Forza Juve, Pino alla fine. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Ciao.